everyone, Sheldon here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a duct tape wallet. I'm going to be using purple duct tape to make this wallet, and I have a reference one right here. This is one I've been using for a while. I actually ended up hand stitching around the outside to make it stronger, but it has some wear and tear on it, as you can see. But I'm going to be using this to make some measurements and just base it off of this one. So first of all, I'm just going to need two rectangular pieces that are this size to make the bill fold, and they're going to be 8 1/4 inches this way by 3 1/2 inches this way. So I'm just going to estimate and then cut it to the exact shape afterwards. So I'm just going to grab my tape here. I'm just laying it down like this on a flat surface. So I'm just cutting out 4 strips of duct tape, and that will make one rectangular piece. Now you just take one strip off like this and another one, and you just lay this over halfway on this strip to kind of stagger it. And you flip it over and add another strip right there. And you take the whole thing off, and I'm just going to cut that part off right there where there's a little crease, and just do this again. Okay, now you just take this and you fold it down in half so this line matches with that seam right there. And you do the same thing on this side. Now I'm just going to measure it out to the correct length, which is 8 1/4 inches, and just cut it to size. Okay, there it is. Now I just need to measure it this way and do the same thing. So now I'm just going to make one more of these. Okay, so I just got finished making the second one, and what works best is if the one on the inside is slightly smaller than the one on the outside, and that's just so when they're lined up, your thumb catches here and you're easily able to open this and access your bills. And since it's shorter lengthwise, you can fold this over and the edges will line up like they should, because the length on the outside, since it's curved over, is going to be slightly longer than the compressed length of this one on the inside. Okay, so now I'm just going to start working on this rectangular piece and this one over here. So not with the pockets quite yet, it's just going to be this entire shape right here. And I have some strips right here ready to go to start forming that shape. And it's going to need to be 3 11/16 of an inch long, so from here to here. And you just need to match the height to the one that's going to go on the inside, which is the shorter one. So it'll be a little bit less than 3.5 inches. I'm just going to do the same thing I did for the big pieces and overlay it about halfway. Okay, so I made 2 of them, as you can see, and now I'm just going to cut them to the right size. Okay, so now these 2 pieces are just going to get taped here, and it'll look something like that. And as you can see, it's starting to look close, at least in shape relation. So before we tape those on there, we're just going to make 6 pockets, and the pockets, each one of them individually is actually the width of the tape itself. So that makes it pretty simple to make them. So I have a strip of tape right here, and I'm just going to take this one and lay it straight over top of it. Okay, so I went ahead and I made 6 of these, as you can see. So what I like to do is take one of these shapes and then use the bottom as a base to make sure the distances are the same. So if that's on the bottom, then you can just take 2 more of these and kind of eyeball it or measure it, depending on how accurate you want it to be, to make the distances look accurate and symmetrical. And then it'll look more like this, but obviously a lot more neat. Okay, so I drew some little reference dots on there, and all I did was take a pocket and just put it here, and then I measured from here to here, and I just divided that distance by 3, and I got 0.530. So I just measured from the edge over to a dot there, and measured over again to that dot, and then one more time, and that's where the top of that pocket is. So all I'm going to do is take this pocket and put the one that needs to go underneath all of them, like this, first. So that's going to be taped down to this rectangular piece, and all I'm going to do is take a piece of tape that's 0.750 in width and just tape the bottom first. I'm just going to flip it over and trim off the excess. And I actually ended up transferring those little dots to the top of this pocket because that covered them up. So now I'm just going to take this other pocket and do the same thing, just line it up. Okay, and for this bottom one, I'm just going to put this on here like this, and it's going to line up exactly at the bottom. And to do that, the piece of tape that I'm going to use is actually going to go on here just a little bit, and then it's going to fold around onto the back. So I'm just taking this strip and putting this about halfway on this pocket here. And I'm just going to line this up with the bottom and wrap it around to the back. Okay, so now I'm just cutting off a strip here of tape, and it's just going to be 3/4 of an inch wide, and I'm just going to use that on the sides. So you can see here, since the pockets are not taped down yet, they kind of do this. I have to take a strip of tape and just put it here and just fold it over around onto the back. And this is actually taping over the pockets a little bit, but we're actually just going to cut along right there, and the pocket will open fully like it's supposed to. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut lightly just through this first layer of tape here, so the pocket opens up completely like it's supposed to. Now I'm just going to take another strip of tape and round off the pocket, or all of these pockets. So it's pretty simple. That's the side of the tape, and that's kind of rough and it's a little bit sticky. So if you take an actual piece of tape and you lay it over halfway, then you can round it off. So this will cover halfway on this top pocket right here, and then the bottom part of this piece of tape will go underneath this pocket here. And just tape over it like that first, and then peel this up here. And then take some scissors and cut this kind of at like a 45-degree angle. And then just tuck this behind like this. And there it is. So that's rounded off right there. And then now you peel this part off, or up. And then you lift this pocket up and tuck this underneath here. Okay, so I have the pockets rounded off now, as you can see. So I actually made another one right here. So that's 2 rectangular pieces and 6 pockets. So if you take the smaller one, which is the one that goes on the inside, and you take these 2 pieces, you can line them up like this, and then just tape them on. So it would just be a piece here, here, and here, and then this part would remain open so you can put stuff in there as well. So I'm just going to start taping these on here, and it's pretty simple. You'll see how this comes together. And I also have to cut here again to make sure that the pockets can open up properly. Okay, so that's on there, as you can see, and you can fit something behind there. And now I'm just going to tape the other one on there. Okay, so as you can see, I have both of them taped on there now. So the pockets work as they should, and you can put stuff in here if you want to. But now we just need to take this last piece here, and this is the billfold, and just tape around here and keep the top open so you're still able to open it up like that. So I'm just going to line it up like this and then fold it over, and since the length will be more accurate to what it's supposed to be, it'll be easier to tape this to the edge. Okay, and now for the bottom part, it's pretty important to just put a piece of tape here and here, not across the entire bottom, because if there's a little hole right here, if you have two pieces, it helps the whole thing actually fold together, whereas if that's taped completely, it's gonna kind of move over here. You can do that. This is just a little bit easier, so I'm just gonna tape this. Okay, so now the finishing touch will be just adding 2 more strips going across this outside surface, and then it will look more smooth. It won't have these seams. It will have one in the middle, or somewhat in the middle, but that's okay. And first of all, I'm just going to take a long strip and just line it up with the bottom here and have a little bit overhang off the edge. And I'm just going to wrap it around to the other side. Now I'm just going to take this second strip and line it up with the seam with the first one, and part of it's going to go above the top of the wallet, and we can tuck that into the billfold and it will look more neat. Okay, so after adding the 2 strips to this, it looks pretty good. It's nice and evened out, and it does have a seam there like I was talking about. There are some wider duct tapes you can get which cover the entire surface, and that looks pretty cool when you do that, but if you don't have that, this works. And I also added a rectangular piece here and here just to cover over the seams there, so it's more of a smooth transition. And I also have a Subway gift card here, so I'm just going to put that in there. And as you can see, it fits inside the pocket as it should, and it does fit inside all of them. And there is a bit of leeway here, so the card can move from side to side just a little bit, which actually helps a lot, because if it was exactly the same size, you'd be probably standing in line trying to fit your card exactly in the right spot. Someone behind you would be like, "Hey dude, that's a cool wallet, but can you please hurry up?" And I don't have a bill to put in here right now, but I can just put this in here to show you. And there is space in there to put stuff. Like I said, there's also this little hole right there that helps it fold. And if you look at leather wallets, a lot of them have that hole right there. It just kind of helps with taking into account that the outside is a little bit longer and taller than the inside piece, and we talked about that earlier. Anyway, that's basically it for this video, and that's just how to make a duct tape wallet. You can make them with any color duct tape and you can get the same result. You can also make pockets differently. You can do lots of different things with it. So I really appreciate you watching this video, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below or in a personal message. And be sure to subscribe if you'd like to see all the latest updates, and I'll see you in the next video.